All right, guys, welcome. We are going to be talking about the Indian wildrift Conquerors circuit. The guys asked me to have a look at this game. I asked if they could suggest me a good game to cover, and this was the game. I haven't seen any of it yet. This was the series that Hell's Devil was casting, and so I wanted to do an analysis on this and kind of see what the hype was around, because obviously the Wildrift India circuit is kind of unofficial. Wildrift hasn't technically launched in India yet. I don't, and a lot of people are asking me the story behind that. I just don't know, unfortunately. But yeah, I wanted to do an analysis on this video, and we can kind of talk a little bit and have a look about how strong the Wildrift Indian teams look as well, because obviously I cover a lot of esports in Europe. I look at a lot of the Southeast Asian games. I want to see how strong the teams in India look, so that once we finally and hopefully get Wildrift released in India, we can see like where we're at when it comes to a global standing. Of course, thanks to G2A for sponsoring the channel. There is a reference link in the description below. Let's talk a little bit about this game then. So quickly, as we get into it, draft-wise, oh, I need to set up my pen. You guys have reminded me. Thank you for reminding me. Need to set up my pen. All right. Hopefully you guys can see me drawing, which is not a problem. Okay, so right now Team BOH is going up against Team AOT. I don't know what those the names are kind of acronyms for, but we're going to call them B and Team A, because it's literally Team B and Team A. So we're going to call them Team A and Team B. Team B are 1-0 up in the series. And so, obviously, Team A have kind of got to get themselves back into the series with this win. Look at this, the composition. They are running a double AD carry composition. It's Varus and Lucian. Varus is considered by most high-tier AD carries as one of the best in competitive, especially. So it's Lucian mid with like a Varus Nami bot, which is an incredibly oppressive bot lane. Very high range, lots of poke. We have Gragas in the top running Grasp with the Undying, which means he's very likely going tank. And then we have a Conqueror Jarvan, so just a standard Jarvan build. A lot of your damage, very AD heavy. Pretty much everything here is AD heavy. There is a little bit of AP damage on Varus, and then a little bit of AP damage coming from a support Nami and a tank Gragas. But for the most part, you're quite AD heavy. However, there isn't really anybody on the side of Team B that wants to build armor, at least not quickly. Maybe Renekton, but obviously we like to see damage on Renekton before we like to see defenses, and Pantheon is the same. Maybe an early Guardian Angel. If I were them, I would be considering an early Guardian Angel here. Just because that armor is going to keep you a little bit healthier when it comes to some of these team fights. But in general, good mid game spiking. You've got lots of range control with the Varus. Your team fighting is very strong 5v5 team fighting comp overall. You don't really have much split push pressure, but you have got a very strong 5v5 team fighting comp. When it comes to this side, very single target pick focus with the Ahri and the Pantheon. You're really hoping for mid-game dominance with your Renekton Pantheon Ahri combo. And then obviously you're bringing up the late game with your Janna Kai'Sa. I think when it comes to pure 5v5 ability, you're lacking some serious kind of like heavy crowd control. You have a stun, and a stun, but they're all individual targets, and Ahri's is obviously a skill shot. And I think dealing with the amount of pure crowd control that Team A has got might be difficult in a straight-up 5v5. I think your main win condition is going to be being strong enough in your solo lanes and your jungle, so that by the time you get to the first dragon or the Rift Herald, you're strong enough to carry those fights just by having an advantage. And then later on into the game, it's all about peeling back and protecting your Kai'Sa so that she's able to deal late-game damage. She's also running Exhaust, by the way, so it's an Exhaust Kai'Sa with a heal on Janna, which is a very, very defensive lane setup, which tells you everything that you need to know about how they think this lane's going to go. I'm drinking black coffee now, by the way, guys. So let's get into the match. Can't have the sound on, of course, because you could hear the casters, which means I wouldn't be able to do my job. Got a big group up in this red side jungle. Got a sweeper very early on from the Janna. They are just looking to establish a bit of vision on this. Is a very common ward location, by the way, guys. Very common ward location around the Raptors or the Razorbeaks, because it means that they can track Jarvan if he goes there as his second camp. Or they can track Jarvan if he tries to go for an invade. It's just a nice location to keep tabs on where Jarvan's pathing is going to go. Jarvan can obviously spoof that and go to the Krugs as his second camp, and then maybe walking to the river that way. But as you can see here, they know exactly where Jarvan is. They've got a tick on him on the minimap right now, so they can time him. This is just good for timing his transition into the blue side jungle, and then eventually timing him getting to the River Scuttler on top, which might also mean, because Pantheon is now skipping a camp, we see Pantheon go straight to red, get level 3, head towards the River Scuttler early. And you can see that Jarvan is actually going for a full bot side clear. So Jarvan's saying, fair enough, they will have seen him make that move as well, and he's going to go and take bot scuttle. So he's not wanting to fight a Pantheon early on, and I think that's a very intelligent play by Mr. Crowley, because that's going to keep him away from Pantheon in the early game, which you really don't want. You don't want to get involved with Pantheon in the early game. You maybe want to stay away from him from counter ganks and maybe look for, like this, an overextension that comes through. And I think, unfortunately... Oh! Did you guys just see that? That was such an insane little snipe right at the end there. Great gank, obviously. Oh, the 1v1. That's not what you want to see. Pantheon might be able to flash engage on this, but I think Swiftly knows what's going on. He's going to pick up the things there. Not going to be able to pick up the River Scuttler. That's a bit interesting to me. I don't really know how a Renekton loses in the 1v1 to a Gragas tank, especially early on, that didn't go for a amplifying tome, instead went for a Ruby Crystal. Not entirely sure on how that happened, but it's not a good look for a Renekton. A Renekton who's too far behind at this stage in the game will struggle. The wave was in a very, very bad place for Renekton as well, because it hasn't bounced properly, which now means that the Gragas should be able to just walk back to the tower and get all of these minions. He hasn't really lost out on a huge amount there, and unfortunately Renekton is now massively overextended in the lane, and that's now a good opportunity for Jarvan to just come back and gank him, even though Renekton does still have the flash. Lovely roam by Lucian, by the way, but again, somehow I will fox you trading back a kill, just getting something out of a bad situation, which is absolutely fantastic for the side of Team B. They are behind right now. They are behind, but just getting these little trades is important, especially for Kai'Sa being the main driving force in the late game. Looks like Ahri may have disconnected, but we'll come back into the game pretty quickly. But right now, Team B looking great. Love the roams from Lucian. They didn't have much vision control in the jungle, which is why I think Ahri, or in the river, which is why I think Ahri's put this ward here in what we call the pixel brush. I think Ahri has placed that ward because she knew that they didn't really have much vision control, and Lucian was able to get a free roam off there. So really great roam. I love just how much effort there, or how many resources they're committing to the bot side of the map here, just to help facilitate this Janna and Varus. I'm very confused as to how Janna and Varus are losing this lane. In the 2v2, they've been out kind of classed by Team B on the bot side of the map, which really shouldn't happen in this particular lane matchup. Janna must be doing the majority of the bullying here, because Varus has just got such a range advantage on Kai'Sa. They are being zoned out by a Kai'Sa Janna as a Varus Nami. It's not the best look in the world, and you can see Varus more concerned using his arrow to try and farm as much as possible. Does actually have his ultimate available. Will go for it here. Lovely engage. He's going to do it again. He's going to do it again. I Will Fox You gets another kill out of a gank, and in the end, it's an overall 1-for-1, which is a fantastic, fantastic result here for Team B. Looks like, though, with that kill, because they have the damage advantage around this dragon, they managed to zone away the Pantheon. Pantheon going in for a crazy steal attempt, but is way too late on the ult. Tries to go aggressive to at least pick off the Lucian, but he'll dive over the wall, and Team A get themselves a dragon confirmed. Don't really... See, I'm just going to pause it here. I'm not too much of a fan of throwing a life away for something like a mountain dragon. It's not the biggest dragon in the world. It really doesn't contribute a huge amount to the win conditions. What I would have loved to have seen from Pantheon there was say, okay, whatever, just go start up the Rift Herald and at least get Ahri positioned here, Renekton positioned here, and stop anybody coming towards the Rift Herald, because you could have just traded objectives there. I don't think you need to fight. If it was Infernal, fair enough. I get you if it's Infernal. But if it's something like, an ocean or something like a mountain dragon, just go and set up on the Rift Herald. Just say, okay, fair enough, path away from here, into the red, into the Rift Herald, clear the Rift Herald of wards, position your Ahri and your Renekton so that if anyone face checks them, they're dead, and just get the Rift Herald. That means you trade objective for objective. All you've done now is you're dead, and you're going to allow Team AOT to reset and get up to Rift Herald to actually contest you, and you might end up losing both objectives. So I'm not a big fan of people who give away their lives and don't just trade objective for objective. The idea of what Riot did to put this at 4 minutes, but to put this one at 4 minutes, is to make it so that you have to make a decision between trading the Rift Herald or the Dragon. So do it. If you don't have position on the Dragon, get Rift Herald. If you want Rift Herald over Dragon, set up for Rift Herald rather than Dragon, etc. That's just a little thing that I think is important to a little thing that I think is important to know at that 4-minute mark about where you should be kind of thinking about your objectives at that 4-minute mark. So there's a bit of a level advantage here. Oof, okay. You've got a very high level Gragas, I think, pretty much close to, and he's actually got his Sunfire Aegis, I think, so that's a pretty nice pickup for him. Charm onto a Gragas isn't really going to do anything at this stage of the game. Attempted isolation of the Kai'Sa here. Great flash body slam, loving the mechanics from Swifty, and gets the kill. Puts him on a killing spree. Oh, the flash knockup from Mr. Crowley. I'm not going to lie. Indian players, they are pretty flashy. However, it has allowed Team B to just kind of get good vision control and set up around this Rift Herald. It is a kill, but they have obviously lost a lot of flashes and also expended a lot of their HP to make this to make those kills happen. And unfortunately, it means they're not able to immediately convert on the Rift Herald. RPG San gets knocked up, has to flash away here. Just a bit of a desperation escape against Swifty, who is honestly, I've been impressed with Swifty. 3-0-0 on Tank Gragas. It's looking pretty good. I'll say that Vol, he's a little further ahead of Blizzard right now, so the Ahri has got a slight advantage on Blizzard right now. Don't really think that you want to be committing too many resources to dealing with a Tank Gragas if you're RPG San. I think you just need to back off. I love that they are getting a setup around this Rift Herald, although it is a pure 4 versus 4. And with that Tank Gragas, I would be a little worried here for Team B. I think they could be in a bit of a rough situation if an engage comes through. You would need to have a very strong secure and a very strong PO. Low HP bars across the board. They're going to aggressively push onto the Renekton. That's a big dive from Pantheon. He has to smite it away. Who gets it? They get it. Just get out, I think, at this point. Sacrifice your Janna and get out at this point. Oh, can you get... I think he gets it. I think he gets the shutdown here. That's huge. Okay. I think if you're Team B, you take the Rift Herald trade for, what is it, a 2 for 3 overall. You lose 1 kill, but you get the Rift Herald. That's actually a really big deal. One other thing to note here is that actually, if you look at the gold difference, we're only about a 1,000 gold difference between the two teams. However, it does look like Team A have gone to commit to that top side of the map, and they are going for the first tower of the game, which should accelerate that gold ever so slightly in the favor. Team A picks up another about 1,000 gold in their back pocket here, which is really nice. That's kind of nullifying Rift Herald as well, right? That's kind of because Rift Herald is taken to take first tower most of the time. So if you take Rift Herald and then you lose first tower, you are kind of losing a little bit of the power of Rift Herald. However, that might be a nice way to set up mid lane tier 1 take. Beautiful bubble there onto the Kai'Sa, but Janna really strong. Can't quite burst through that shield, and it will keep the Kai'Sa safe in this situation. Now, of course, the next big setup is going to be that first Infernal Drake, or rather just the Infernal Drake spawning in around 45 seconds. I expect both teams, given that we are relatively close right now, to try and contest that. Having a look at some of the items, Pantheon has gone Duskblade Drakthar. We have a Blade of the Ruined King Renekton, which is a little better in the 1v1, less good in the teamfight scenarios. Ahri has picked up her Ludens, which is a nice mid-game burst item. I think we have most of the key evolutions now finished here for Kai'Sa, or at least close to finished. Definitely has her Q upgrade. I don't think she will have her E upgrade as of yet, but that you can see the 1v1 power of the... Okay, well, that's actually really nice. Swifty, if he dies, he flashes across the wall, kept safe for the time being, and actually looks like they're going to kill the Renekton. How'd you get away with that? That's absolutely insane that they actually end up killing the Renekton there, given how close he was to killing. That's a nice engage, though. Beautiful disengage with the Nami wave. And it does look like a bit of a waste of the culling, unfortunately, from Blizzard, but we are going to get a setup around this Infernal Drake now. Unfortunately, Swiftly not quite in the area for it, but we'll have that teleport available, so should be able to get straight back into this fight. As we have the engage coming through already, there's a teleport, 5v5 grouped up right now. Split off, though. Blizzard completely split off for the time being, but they take down the key member, which is that Kai'Sa. They're going to get a 2 for nothing at this stage, and that should be enough to take down this dragon, although it is a late Pantheon jump, and he steals it. Oh, that's what you want to see. Better timing and gets a kill. Here comes Renekton, really strong with low HP bars. I don't know how they're getting away with this. Absolutely nutty. Swifty should be able to pick something back here, as you can see Mr. Crowley being chased down by the Renekton. Should be able to get it. Stuns him out of an EQ combo. What can't get away, and that will be a huge cleanup. A double kill for the Renekton here. Massive amount of gold going back in favor of Team B off the back of an insane engage from RPG Stan. And that is the kind of timing that you want to see. The Infernal Dragon is definitely something that I would recommend, you know, committing at least one body like a Pantheon or an Evelynn or something to try and steal it away. But they got more than that. And that shows you the power of a Renekton and a Pantheon at this stage in the game. Even when you're behind in gold and you lose someone like the Kai'Sa, who's supposed to be there for late game power, they are still super strong brawlers and can definitely carry team fights, and now they're strong enough to carry these mid-game team fights because they got a huge injection of gold off the back of that, and they pick up the tower. So we had a 3k gold advantage for Team A that has now swung in favor of Team B. And that just shows you, if you're playing Pantheon or playing Renekton, don't be afraid to get in the middle of a team fight, even if it looks like your team is kind of on the downer, because these two champions are super strong. Great stun, chained into the charm. You can see the single target pick-off power of these two comps. It looks like Kayle trying to trade back here. A bit overextended as he jumps straight into that Renekton. I think Swifty should be able to at least peel back for Kayle. It'll be a 1-for-1 at the end of that trade, but a 2-for-1 overall at the end of that fight here. And obviously the main pressure would be that Baron. Swifty trying to isolate people, will get picked off again. And RPG Stan finally finding his edge. And this is what you want to see from Kai'Sa as we go on. Just dive to the back line with the shield, and we'll pick up a double kill. Blizzard just about over the wall here, gets away with the skin of his teeth. And somehow, Mr. Crowley comes back for a double kill. That happened a little bit off screen, and I have no idea how it happened. But he somehow picks up a double kill under the towers, escapes away from IWillFoxy, who's starting to enter that late game power again. Like we said, has got the E upgrade, has got the Q upgrade. You know, Team BOH has kind of got their team to a point where this Kai'Sa is starting to take over in terms of team fight power. So IWillFoxy in a pretty strong spot now. And I think, you know, for Team AOT, you need to look at the mechanics of the way they want to play a team fight. Like, they need a good setup with the Varus ultimate. They need to keep everyone grouped together with the Cataclysm, or just getting chain CC'd with that Gragas, and then you just want the Lucian and the Varus to do the majority of the damage here. Volk flashes forward to try and save this tower, but there goes that Varus ultimate. They take down the Ahri very quickly, and now on the front line here comes the Renekton being kited away. This is what you want to see against a Renekton. That's what Lucian does so well. Just kites him back. We'll trade 1-for-1 at the end here as Pantheon finally comes in, but a beautiful double bubble, but no one to commit onto it. There's the backline access from IWillFox. You get stunned up, huge damage coming up from the Gragas, and he's forced to back away as Mr. Crowley maybe just about overextends. Goodness gracious. You're seeing how close these two teams are right now in terms of team fight power. If they proc that Guardian Angel, it would have been huge for the next Dragon, I feel. But IWillFoxy starting to become a real problem, even though they take down Volcy. I don't know how to say that, Volk or Volcy. IWillFoxy is able to kind of get back in and just do the rest of the damage these teamfights require. But that's what you wanted to see from Kayle as well. Like, a big teamfight ultimate is kind of what we're looking for here. Like an ult that's going to chain between people and allow you to just burst out each individual member. The name of the game for a Team AOT at this point is peeling back. Like, once Maroom's used his slice and dice, once RPG Stan's used his jump with the stun, like, you just want to peel back and stop them from kind of getting to your backline. That's a beautiful bubble, though. There comes the Pantheon ultimate. Nice stun onto the Lucian, who uses the stopwatch or the stasis to buy himself time and then dives out, gets back onto the Ahri. Beautifully timed stasis here, but he doesn't find the kill, and IWillFoxy backs off. I think, unfortunately, now they've lost too many members. If they just managed to pick off that kill, it might have been the ideal way to go about it. But IWillFoxy with that red buff looking really good, and they're going to get a free Ocean Drake at the end here. Oh my word, so close. Volcy almost goes down to the Lucian. It was a beautifully timed stasis, but unfortunately, they were just too far into the team fight, unfortunately. And that's a real problem. I think when you have, when you have a Lucian and a Varus, you don't really want to be engaging like that. You want to be peeling back and making those ultimates count. Like, it really is up to Varus to find the picks, I think, because he needs to judge the distance that he is supposed to be away. Oh my god, he steals it. This game couldn't get any better, really, could it? He just swags his way into the pit and just like, mine. And that's gonna make it very difficult now for Team BOH to stretch that lead through tower takes, because they're gonna have to be going into those Baron minion waves, and that might even allow Team AOT to kind of bounce back and pick up a couple of these towers on the side lanes, especially because they have these huge minion waves. You don't want to see an overcommit here. I don't want to see too much overextension from Team AOT, because you can already see the response is there. RPG Stand comes in immediately, body slam, just pop that. If you can pop that GA, it'll be a really big win, but they can't manage to do it just yet. As Blizzard actually getting a little bit hyphy. They have that Baron minion wave to support them. So this is a fight area where they could potentially fight, because the Baron minion wave will do a lot of work for you. It's a lot of damage. They are overcommitting without the Jarvan right now, and that's a problem. Swifty sets up for it. Nice redemption into the wave to try and peel away. Blizzard now on the front line gets a... How on earth did Blizzard just pick off a 2-for-1 for there? I'm going to go back. I'm sorry, but what the hell just happened? I need to watch Blizzard. What positioning, what disgusting positioning just happened here to allow Blizzard to get a 2-for-1? All right, wait. Let's slow this down. Okay. Foxy's already taken quite a lot of damage. We're gonna put it in like 0.5. He's already taken a lot of damage here. Gets the shield, trying to deal with Swiftly. Swiftly lands a double barrel and the piercing light. And again, I think what actually happened was the Baron minions were doing so much work as well. I think the Baron minions were actually doing a significant amount of damage, and they just walked into the Baron minions that were doing all that work. This might be the end of the game. Like, you can push with Baron and just straight up end here. You've got 30 seconds, and you have the wave to work with. I have no idea. This really shouldn't have been possible. This feels like a big error to just fight in the Baron minion wave here for Team BOH. I think with the Baron minion wave, there's nothing that the Ahri, the Volsea, can do about it. They are just going to be able to take him down into the Cataclysm to secure the fight, and that will be the end of the game. Damn. That was really spicy stuff. I don't know if we can get the damage stats. I'd love to have a look, actually. Okay. Let's take a look at the damage stats. I don't know if we show them, but I'd love to see the damage stats. My god, Swifty was popping, dude. This guy was popping. Full armor. Didn't care about the Ahri. That's what I love to see. You're mostly concerned about Pantheon, Renekton, and Kai'Sa. There's a little bit of AP damage from Kai'Sa, but like full balls to the wall armor. Love it. And it makes your Iceborne Gauntlet hurt as well. And also increases the damage you deal with Bramble Vest. Blizzard popped off in that last fight, dude. He literally had 2.5 items as well. Like, you were going into a nearly 3-item Ahri, a 3-item Renekton, 3-item Pantheon, 3.5 item Kai'Sa, and you're a 2.5 item Lucian, and you just bop him. You just absolutely bop him. Great stuff. I don't know if we're going to get the damage stats here. Okay, here we go. Damage stats. 24k, but then there was still a lot. I mean, you can see like 21k from Tank Gragas, but everybody dealt insane damage from Team AAB, Team BOH. Everyone dealt insane damage, but yeah, Lucian just popped off in the last team fight. I think that's a lesson for everyone. Don't fight in Baron minion waves, because they deal way too much damage and your entire team just gets blown up. That's the mistake that Team BOH made. They fought in the Baron minion waves. That was crazy, dudes. That was crazy. Great game. Great game. If you want to follow wildrift India, I'll link everything in the description below. They have some really cool tournaments. They've got one coming up this weekend. I might be able to cast it. I don't know if I will be able to, though, due to work, but feel free to go and check it out. It's awesome. I'll see you soon.